Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Hearthcenter, your Tuesday night show, bringing you the best moments the last week of THL. I'm one of your hosts, Lotus Knight, and I am joined first of all to my left by Super Chicken. Chicken, how are you?
I am doing great, thanks.
And to my right, we have the one and only Geranium Battle.
I am also doing great. Thank you for asking.
My pleasure. And below Geranium, we have Azalea Kari. Azalea, how are you?
I'm doing well. Very happy to be here.
Always great having you all. We have quite the show tonight. We're going to be talking a lot about so many different things, so many series, so many standings. So before we hop right in, um, Geranium, do you want to give a rundown of what we're going to do in the show tonight? What are our segments?
Well, of course. First that comes up is going to be the players of the week. Then after we do players of the week, we jump straight into matches, covering matches. We are going to be we're going to be covering the hero matches first, followed by legacy. Then, of course, there is the commercial, the ever so lovely commercial, followed by pro and trios. And then we also usually have a closing statement. Are we ready to get on to players?
Yeah, let's take a look at our players of the week. So we're going to start by looking at Hero Player of the Week. So tell me, Chicken, who is our Hero Player of the Week?
Our hero player of the week is Osmonaut. The winner this week may be familiar as the captain of a long-standing THL tradition in Legacy. However, in Hero, Osmonaut found himself in a prolific battle of captains and came in clutch for his team with a sweep over Totino's Pizza. This clinched a needed victory for APM over F2L, bringing a loss to... Hey, wait, why is the face of APM on the wrong team? Anyway, regardless of Bone Masher being on the wrong team, the Wizard of Oz is looking to bring a Tam Pam Wham Bam onto the rest of this hero competition. So congrats to Osmonaut and thanks to Geranium Battle for the submission.
Nice. Thank you, Geranium, for the submission, and congratulations, Oz. As we move on to our Legacy Player of the Week, Azalea, do you want to take this one?
Sure. So our legacy player of the week is Neb Canuck. Despite receiving a nomination for his captain, we think a long overdue player of the week should be given to the Defias OG Neb Canuck. In his Battle of Legacy Champions, Season 19 winner Neb Canuck took the Game 5 win over Season 20 winner Superhero. Father Neb had a great start, but ironically needed 3 games to get his most priestly class through. With his dominant start, let's see if Nebkanuk and the rest of the Defias can bring another one home to Edwin.
Definitely. We'll see how Defiance goes for the next few weeks as Geranium tells us who's our Pro Player of the Week.
Pro player of the week is none other than Leo Daric. Week 2 is all about the bounce back. Last week, Leo Daric and Swagoi accomplished solid wins to rebound after a slow start. Leo Daric took a solid 3-1 in their match with Hustle to help secure a solid 19-point week for Swagoi to make sure it's a solid start to the season.
Nice. And with that, I'm going to bring us to Hero Series, where we have a lot to talk about. And our first match we're going to focus on is the Department of League Administration. I even have trouble saying the name, and I was in the team before, versus any primers. And this is already a special match to start with, isn't it, Chicken? Tell us about it.
Yeah, we're seeing the lowest points you can get in a week across both teams because every person swept. there were no points to the losers of any match in this week, with 4 of those wins going to the Department of League Administration and Wild Rose picking up the lone win for the primers. But yeah, that is only one of the odd things I would say about this. One of the other odd things being there's a lot of hunter. There are 4 hunters, 3 on the side of the Department of League Administration. I'd say no surprise seeing Hunter coming out from Ron, and maybe that influence is bleeding into the rest of his teammates. And we're also seeing Druid and also a Shaman from Saku, which is, very, very, very interesting. Lots of diverse class brings in this week. And yeah, Shaman obviously had a 100% win rate in this week.
Do we know if Shaman was played?
Oh, sorry, perhaps infinite percent win rate.
Fair. I want to ask here, Drain, if he has anything to add about this one.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely an interesting match, not only because of the score, but because of some of the players. Any primers has a lot of new players in this league, and then Department of League Administration has a lot of old standbys, a lot of board members specifically. So it's nice to see that THL still got it. For bans, it's also pretty interesting. This is the first non-DH or DK ban I've seen in a while, but that's because MR Catherine did not bring DK or DH, which is another very interesting thing. So a Druid mirror in the 5 seed is something I would not normally expect. But in this case, man, I tried to use all this time to stall and figure out whether Saku had ever played the Shaman. He did not. He swept with
Oh, you swapped with DK?
DH.
Oh,
yeah, with the DK it looks like.
yeah.
But anyways, this is a blow to any primers who won their first week and then now had a pretty poor result this week. But they should look to jump back, as we all love Turtle.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of us.
Oof.
Oof, indeed. I do want to bring us to our second match, which is a fun one. We have Dead Legend facing the somewhat hastily improvised team. I want to ask Azalea if they have anything to comment about this one. Azalea?
Oh yeah, I'm here. All right. Sorry, I was something I had to respond to. A Dad Legend versus somewhat hastily improvised team. Dad Legend taking down their first win of the season, taking a 14-9 win, getting victories from Man 420 as a sub over World 8. We've got Pescatarian getting a 3-0 sweep over Pigpen, and Yellow Dart getting a sweep over Quaz. And for somewhat hastily improvised team, Maxi Bond got a Game 5 win over Mickey 66, and Dr. BOMD, who's somehow in the 4, but now moves up to the 3 next week, got a sweep over Risen.
Nice. So, Chicken, anything you want to add about this match? Anything surprising?
Yeah, I played against Bomdi and Legacy like last season in the 1 seed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Bomdi with a pretty big bounce back win. Seems to be who the somewhat hastily improvised team will have to rely on going forward to get a lot of these wins. Because, yeah, I think on paper this team probably should be better than the start they've had. But yeah, that does tend to happen to lots of teams that appear to be very good on paper. I'm definitely not talking about any teams in particular, especially not any teams that I'm on. I would never do that. But yeah, I mean, it just like it is just how it goes sometimes, especially like with these shorter seasons that we've had the past couple seasons where if you do have a bad start, you might just miss playoffs unless you have an insane run. So it is a little bit scary going forward for some of these teams that have less points.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to ask Uranium, what are the standings looking like in the end after this kind of interesting week with some very weird results? Well, it was a double week. What do we have now? Who's doing well? How big is the gap? What is it looking like?
Yeah, as you said, there was a double week, so there was a lot of time for the results to sort of settle. And at the end of that, we have Purple Conference being led at the top here with one of the teams we featured, Department of League Administration, at 36 points. Right behind them is F2L Black at 33 points. Then Always Packin' Mana at 27 points, so somewhat tightly contested there. Any Primers is down at 21 points, and then a team that we should let cook at 20 points down there. The top two teams, by the way, from each conference will make playoffs. Of course, we're not quite there yet, but seeing Department of League Administration and F2L Black at the top is a something we might look to see again in the future. Teal Conference, on the other hand, has Ballers and Slatters Enjoy Dabbing, undefeated up at 37 points, the highest points of any team right now. Arcanists Perform Miracles is at 32 points. Right behind them is Golden Wisps at 30 points. Dad Legend is down at 23 points, and then Somewhat Hastily Improvised Team is at 15 points. So while not out, Somewhat Hastily Improvised Team will have to somewhat hastily get some wins.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of weeks, so if you're not getting the wins now, the gap is just going to widen. This is already a 17-point gap on week 2. So we'll have to see if they can get it together. Any thoughts about Hero? Anyone wants to say before we move on to Legacy?
Yeah, if you're in last place in Hero Series, particularly in the Purple Conference, give up. You're not making it. Yeah, I don't see myself winning another match in Hero Series this season. So I think we're done.
Hey,
And
don't say that. I might
was trying
have
to
to play you.
reverse curse myself into winning a bunch of matches.
Yeah.
Surely that works.
Surely.
I will say to the point of Chicken talking about teams on paper looking so good. I mean, that's just the thing with all of Hero. So all the teams in Hero are quite strong. That's why I'm not really surprised to see any of these teams at the bottom. Someone has to be. So this will change hands, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So with that, let's move on to Legacy. Let's take a look at Legacy Gold, where we start looking at the rock stars of average size, which is a team that I love the name of, facing Defias. And now, Geranium, why don't you tell us about this one?
Of course. Rock stars of average size faced Defias. These were the top team in their respective conference. Rockstars was in gold, Defias in silver. And Defias ended up taking a close win. Wild 9 won in game 5 in the 1. I believe he had to play last. Yachtster took the game 4 over Classy Thug. Neb Canuck, who was our player of the week, won in game 5 over Superhero. The Realer took a sweep over Bitbeaker. And Judo Chop won in game 5 over My Curse, who subbed in this last week. A lot of standard things I'm seeing here, except for that Paladin ban, which maybe we'll hear about.
Yeah, Azalea, anything you want to say about this match?
mean, again, we see 5 hunters between the two teams. So Hunter starting to see get a little bit of love in these series. Paladin as well, having a bigger presence in this match than in a bunch of the other matches. But overall, very close result for two teams that are looking to be on the top of their respective conferences. And well done by Defias to get the win in this scenario.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Azalea, where does that leave Gold Conference? What is the standings for Gold looking like?
All right, yep. So in Gold Conference, we have All Justin sitting at 32 points after 2 matches played, a 1-1 record. We have Rockstars of average size, 1 point behind them at 31 points. We've got the Cooler at 23. We have canceled Hearthstone season at 23 points. In last place in their conference is Standard THL Degenerates at 9 points after 1 week played. So they had the week 1 bye, and they got 9 points in week 2.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
other than Standard THL Degenerates, everyone seems to be doing well, but just a reminder that Standard THL Degenerates did just play 1 match, so there's still a huge gap.
Absolutely.
Now,
They can easily just take a win.
oh
Be
yeah,
up. Yeah.
still a lot to go as we move on to Red Conference, where I want to ask Super Chicken to tell us about the Albatross display mistakes versus the Season 24 5v5 Legacy Clown contestants. And actually, you and Geranium can probably take this one together.
Yeah, this one was great because Neji threw it for us. That was my favorite part about it.
Gosh.
That's true.
He brought.
He's not even here to defend himself.
We're in I would say we are in a 1 archetype rogue deck meta.
Oh no.
But Neji disagreed, and he brought Pirate Rogue, and it lost all 3 games when he was up 2-0 in the series. Yeah, so that was a bit tough. Maybe would have won a game with regular Miracle Rogue. Yeah, my series went to 5 games as well against Based on Stream. That was a very, very back and forth. Where Based Paladin just had a lot of trouble getting through against my lineup. Not really sure what happened within the games of the last 3 matches. Max, do you want to break down how your match against Diamond went?
Yeah, as I told Diamond before, the result would most likely be a 3-1 because regardless of how the other games went, we each had 1 superpower deck that was left unbanned. We played in week 1 where the meta was still kind of pre-patch-ish, so it went exactly as I expected. I ended up taking the victory, but Diamond got a win with his unbanned DK. Not surprising to me. Canoe versus Hustle. I I told Canoe what to submit in we worked together to submit in Hero. And then I said to not submit Druid in Legacy, and luckily Hustle banned it for us, so we didn't have to play it. So that's
okay. Where the heck was I? Where was I during all this? Okay, I surely have dropped the ball here because I would have had a heart attack hearing about him banning Druid.
Oh no.
Hey, sometimes you don't face 5/5 hero powers.
And then with Trip versus You Kitten Me, I mean, we went in feeling pretty confident, even with a Hunter Paladin and no DK, and it ended up being very close. Hunter ended up struggling and ended up not making it through. But I think Trip started up 2-0, so yeah, ended up being very close. As you can see, many game 5s in this week.
For sure. Any further thoughts anyone wants to share about this match before we take a look at red standings?
Yeah, I find Legacy is like maybe less interesting than Hero right now from a class perspective.
Yeah.
It feels like Druid doesn't really have a place. And it feels like a lot of the other kind of fringe classes are feel very easy to punish because um the kind of top classes have either have multiple archetypes like Death Knight, Demon Hunter, even Priest has like at least two quite viable options, and then Rogue is just like aside from like Demon Hunter, it really doesn't have like actual bad matchups, so it's just very hard to beat, or consistently at least.
Rogue has multiple archetypes. There's Weapon Rogue.
Yeah, there.
Sure.
Okay. It is easy to beat some of the rogue archetypes, as Lotus highlighted. But yeah, it feels like those top four classes do a really good job of punishing the other classes. Although, like, you could say that Druid is a top four class in some formats. Like on ladder, the deck is really good, and in Hero, there's like some really strong applications. But yeah, there are like basically four aggro slash tempo decks you can play. So Druid gets a little run over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much better also in open list. When open list, you kind of lock your opponent into playing the unfavored matchup. But yeah, closed list Legacy where you have to win with Druid is like very sad.
Yeah, it's not like previous metas either. Like, I mean, actually, for a very long time, there's been like a slow druid and a fast druid in the meta.
There's just no fast.
There's always been like the option to swap out to like aggro or beast druid or something like that. And like this is the feels like the first time in a while where that hasn't been the case.
It's true. You can basically go a Nubricon Druid or you play a different class. But, Chicken, what do the standings for red look like at the end of this?
Yeah, in Red Conference at the top we have the Anoyo Political Manifesto at 28 points from the past 2 weeks. And then tied with him, we have the other APM team, Albatross's Play Mistakes, also at 28 points. Then going down the list, we have a bit of a gap with Dad Legend at 23. Then the Season 24 5 versus 5 Legacy Clown Contestar, or Contestants, depending on how you read that, at 20 points. And then with only 1 week played, actually kind of sitting at the top of the conference in points per week, we have E.T. Cthulhu at 18.
Yeah.
I would like to note that there was a late submission from a player that shall not be named right now, but actually Albatross's Play Mistakes is at 30. That's why you see points per week is at 15. And season 24, 5v5 Legacy Clown Contestants is at 24. So
Oh, right. Okay, I haven't.
No,
That was tough. I have not missed a submission in like almost 2 years. I don't even know what happened. I think I just got like caught up in the talking with people like in the interview at the end of the match, and then I was like, oh yeah, I've done everything I need to. I've fulfilled my obligation, and then I just like logged off for the night and then forgot about it. I also
I mean, in the race of things, I'm
I also
totally
kind of went
fine
away with the weekend to visit Turtle, so that did not help. Like I wasn't really like at my computer the rest of the weekend to like remind myself or anything.
I mean,
So that was not great either.
in the race of things, if your team wants to give up 4 points, we'll lose the 2 points. Like that's we can make that trade. So we want to revert that submission, but
Now, let's keep it going to Silver Conference, shall we? as Azalea takes a look at
Absolutely.
Symphony of Clowns facing the standard THL Degenerates.
All right. My team, Symphony of Clowns versus Dr. BOMD's team. The week landed 17-9 in my team's favor with starting off with Rice Cryption getting a bounce back win, finally winning Game 5 this week against Dr. BOMD. Jammies was up next and took a 3-1 over Memnarch, followed by myself with a 3-1 win over Saku. And so we needed 1 point, and Copa provided that 1 point. Unfortunately, it was his only point of the match as Pigpen got a 3-1 victory. And Jolt C closed out the week with a 3-1 win over Risen. There was a lot of Druid brought to this match, which I know we just mentioned Druid. I imagine that so in 2 of the matches, so Rice Cryption won with Druid and Jolt C won with Druid. I'm not sure if Doc won with it, and Saku didn't play it in our match, so he didn't win with it. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I want to ask Chicken, anything you want to add about this one?
Yeah, a bit of an uncharacteristic first loss for STD. Have generally been pretty strong performers in past seasons.
Yeah.
With, I mean, Bomb D making his way up to 550 PR a season or two, I think a couple seasons ago.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, certainly a team that can bounce back from that. Memnarch had a really strong legacy season last season in the 1 seed. I think going like something like 5-2 or 6-1 in the regular season. So this team definitely has the potential to bounce back, and I think they probably will.
Mm-hmm. I do want to say I'm not sure about the priest ban in that match. Unless there's something that Memnarch saw that I didn't
All the players that did not ban Demon Hunter or Death Knight lost. So think about that.
Yeah. Well, Copa couldn't. Obviously, Copa couldn't ban either because Pigpen didn't bring. He brought Hunter, Paladin, Priest, Rogue, so he banned what we deemed kind of the best class left between Priest and Rogue. Although that was a debate.
Actually, Chicken, Judo Chap got the win when banning Paladin.
Oh no, I think
Clearly,
he was
Paladin is the powerful class
yeah.
that needs to get banned.
Paladin is a powerful class. They just need to give it powerful cards.
Yeah.
Does it have the best hero power?
Well, there is a Paladin hero power that has charge, so hard to say.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Yeah.
So, I want to ask Azalea, can you tell us what the standings for Silver are looking like?
Yeah, silver standings are very, very close. So Defias is at 39 points at top of the conference. The Stubbs is at 35, and so is Big W Esports. So 3 teams in Silver Conference are atop with 2-0 records. Symphony of Clowns at 32 points with a 1-1 record. And F2L White, after 2 matches, is 1-1 with 22 points. They took a pretty sizable loss this week to Oops All Justin, I believe. But in going into this next week, I know my team has the bye. So Silver Conference, so like our team's sitting at 16 points, so we're a bit behind already at 1-1, taking the bye now.
Well, this is going to be some hot action in Silver this week, so we'll come back to see what is going on next week. Any final thoughts about Legacy before we move back to our screen for our commercial break?
I guess I'll mention that Silver Conference is actually looking pretty destructive. You can see that a lot of them are at 2-0. That's because they've only fought other conferences. So this is their first
Yep. This is
in
our first
conference.
inter-conference week. Yep.
Yeah, so and that'll be the same for the rest of the season. So now here's where we're going to actually see the team sort of jostle for positions.
Yeah. And funny to note, my team doesn't. Not my team. It's funny. Every team in Legacy besides my team has AOS. That's because both of the teams that we played either were on bye week 1 or week 2, so they don't have any other matches played. I thought that was funny. But other than that, nothing else. We can move on.
Sounds good. So it's time for a commercial, and tonight Super Chicken is going to be the one reading our commercial. So Chicken, take it away. Tell us about Twitch Prime.
I will. Yo, 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 yo. Hey there, Twitch viewers. Have who subscribed to Team Hearth League yet? Then rake today the day to be a league yourself and subscribe to our channel. This subscription enables our team to help cover the cost of operating our website as well as shrimp-proof the quality of our streams and content to our viewers. If you have Amazon Prime True Crime, you can subscribe to the channel for free. Subscribers will get a THL emoticon as well as the lovely THL chat badge. So multiverses that thumbs up button and keep the lights on to make sure you catch our train broadcasting live. We appreciate each and every some of you. Special note to our viewers, check out THL's other social media points of interest. Website, teamhearthleague.com. Catch us on Twitter at THL_HS. Join us on Discord, Team Hearth League. Face us on Hearthstone, Super Chicken, #1331. The true Hearth legend, audio engineer Pozic, continues to post all of our videos on our YouTube channel. Just search for Team Hearth League to see everything previously recorded. You are, of course, watching us on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TurtleTheMistPlayer, or possibly on our YouTube channel in the future. And for all guys, you THL fanatics out there are you THL shows every single, most days of you week. You can't go wrong tuning in at time for some Hearthstone-related content. Now, Saku, the good part. Ka-chow. I don't know if we can just make the sentence gibberish. I don't know. I don't know
we can.
to what
We
extent
absolutely. Oh no, it's
we
pretty
can
gibberish.
go.
It's more intelligible than it was in previous seasons.
For now, yes. Is it going to remain like that? No, but for now, yes. Yeah, I would say it's more intelligible. But I want to thank Super Chicken for this great announcement, and just a reminder for all viewers out there to face us on Hearthstone. But with that said, let's move on to Pro Series. So we're going to start by looking at the Black Conference, where I have F2L facing Axe Blade Metalheads. Geranium, tell us about that one.
Of course, this is the second F2L versus APM matchup this week. F2L won this one instead, though, with Reeb Bobson taking the Game 5 win over Vino Spumoni. Bone Masher himself winning in Game 4 over fellow APM player Chewy. Rami subbing in and getting a Game 4 win over Starlax. Corridon taking Game 5 over Itachi. And in the 5 seed, Marty B won in Game 4 over KSW with Pure Paladin.
Nice.
So, anything anyone wants to add about this match?
Yeah, it seems like we're seeing a bit of a rise in control priest in Pro Series, even drawing a ban in one of the matches. I think it does kind of make sense depending on your opponent's tendencies. You know, it's certainly quite bad into Druid and Demon Hunter, but other than that, it's a pretty solid deck.
Yeah.
It is also interesting, by the way. There's XL Control Priest, XL Thief Priest, and there's going to be another type of control-y priest that we might talk about soon.
So, with this in mind, and all the comments out of the way, let's take a look at the Black Conference standings. And I want to ask Geranium, what are the standings looking like for Black?
Well, we've got a front runner here with Brushy Tuna taking the lead at 46 points. That is 2 perfect weeks in a row. Then behind them is F2L at 39 points. They're just, them losing any amount of matches is just not good enough. Rocket Propelled Glug Girl at 27 points. Frog Champs Resurrection is at 19 points. And then at the bottom is Axe playing Metalheads. And you can see their average opponent score is pretty high.
Oh yeah, some might say the best.
So, let's use this as a good time to move on to Pink Conference, where Chicken is going to tell us about the other F2O match.
I am. Wait, actually, this is not an F2L match. Please let us. This is this is a match 50% better than an F2L match. This is an F3L match, except we lost, so maybe not as good. I'll have to come back with the math on that one. But we did lose 12-14 to the Cheesemongers United. Yeah, I played my match fairly early against Pyro Llama, getting a 3-2 win. Then I believe Justin played his match and lost, and I think then either Neji or Dankus played and they lost, and I think we played his match fourth, and then we had either Neji or Dankus go last to clutch it out, and in spectacular F3L fashion, we did not.
Oof.
So yeah, the Cheesemongers have a great start to their season, putting up 17 points this week, and F3L is really not. Maybe it's the mages. Who knows? Who knows what's going on with the team? But this is like the one series I'm doing well in. So aside from trios, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, there have been like a couple extraneous circumstances, but yeah, we'll start winning eventually. I'm sure. Surely, it is top 2 only in each conference in pro, which is a bit concerning. I mean, we're still only 3 points behind OPP, but it's already becoming a very tight race between 3 of the teams in Pink.
Chicken, I'm actually interested in a result if you know any more information on it, because Agent Pee-wee swept, as you can see, and that necessarily entails that Relic DH won a 20%-ish matchup against Spell DH.
Oh, I wish I could. I should have sent this screenshot to Lotus like before the match because it's very funny. He has a screenshot of turn 5. He has played 2 Relics of Phantasms. 2 of the Phantasms are 4/4s, 2 of them are 5/5s, and 2 of them are 6/6s.
Oh. Nice.
So he said, how to win the 25% matchup, simply put 30-30 into play on turn 5. So if you're wondering on how to win this matchup, that is how you do it.
Yep, just play literally just play both your Relics of Extinctions and then your Relic of Phantasms by turn 5.
Yeah, just fill your board before your opponent's Unleash Fel Mana Thirst activates.
That's insane. To be honest,
I personally I think it was a player diff. That's my headcanon. I will believe that forever.
Absolutely, Pee-wee is a god.
But yeah, there were some like tough matchups in there that Pee-wee navigated. Like dodging, or like, I mean, Druid had a couple pretty unfavorable, like 3 unfavorables. He did ban the Unholy Death Knight, so only 2 pretty bad unfavorables. And yeah, I mean the Miracle Rogue is like another like 30% into Demon Hunter. So I really don't know how Pee Wee was the only one who swept, but as I've stated before, it was a player diff.
That's actually quite surprising.
Yeah. I
But
think the other surprising thing is Neji not bringing Rogue.
he really doesn't
bringing
believe in Miracle Rogue.
So good.
Guys, Neji will bring a good lineup eventually.
Hope it up.
So, Chicken,
Alright.
what are the standings for Pink Conference looking like?
So at the top of Pink Conference, we have the aforementioned Cheesemongers United sitting at 42 points with 19 points per week. Then right below them, well, actually not right below them, a good bit below them already, we have the Opportunistic Pro players at 31 points. Then we have F3L at 28 points, with Swagoid trailing directly behind at 27. And finally, we have Zymox and Chill at 15 points at the bottom of Pink Conference. So already CMU pulling a decent bit of a lead with 38 points in the past 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then, yeah, like I mentioned before, we have that really tight grouping in Pink there. So, yeah, it seems like already like no playoff spot seems very certain. And even CMU, I'm sure, could fall behind if they have a couple off weeks. So all of these teams really have a decent shot of making playoffs here. And with Pro being top 2 teams, it just feels so cutthroat.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. This is just looking like such a crazy Pro season. But thinking of Pro, let's move on to trios where we have some of the best Pro players competing as a team. And we're going to stick to F3L here as we look at the first match between F3L and Warrior Believers. So I'm going to ask Chicken if he can tell us about this one.
This simply was not F3L's week to win. There was no F3L winning. The 3 was actually on the other side of the match for the Warrior Believers. Yeah, we played. Actually, my team played the Warrior Believers in week 1, and I mean, we did win the match, but it was also a bit of a high roll. I think the Warrior Believers definitely played quite well in that series, and it was definitely a tough loss for them because especially like just going like losing 3 is not fun, like when it doesn't feel close. So I think good on them for bouncing back. And on the other side, it's pretty tough for F3L here. I mean, you have 3 really solid players in Rebob, Marty B, and Chewy. But yeah, I mean, someone just has to lose. And with both of these teams dropping in week 1, one of these teams had to end up 0-2. And unfortunately for F3L, yeah, they're sitting at 0-2, which means they really have to win their next 3 weeks to have a chance of making it. If they do that, they have a decent shot at making it. I'm not sure if they could go to 3-2 and then 3-3 and make it. Would heavily depend on tiebreakers, but yeah, it is an uphill battle to say the least.
Yeah.
Anything anyone else wants to share about this match before we move into our final match? Okay, let's go for our final match of the night, where we had the Great Big 3 facing the 2 carries, 1 Mako. And Azalea, tell us how that went.
Yeah, in the battle of Nova Scotia versus the board, Nova Scotia has won a close 3-2. Both sides going with an unholy DK ban. The interesting thing here is that, and I know that it's a deck and it can get wins, but I don't know how many people brought Big Demon Hunter to their matches, but Big DH was able to get a win here, alongside regular Hero Power Druid and an Undead Priest over Outcast DH, Face Hunter, very Ron deck to bring, and Miracle Rogue. But yeah, really good win. And again, unfortunately, a team had to go to 0-2 out of these two, and it happens to be 2 carries, 1 Mako, with 3 pretty strong players on their team.
This is one of those scenarios where both teams are actually really strong. So very surprising to see one of them being in the 3, especially 2 carries, 1 Mako was not a team I expected to see in the state.
Yeah.
Chicken, what do you think?
Maybe you didn't expect to see Ron at 0-2, but I certainly did.
Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah, I mean, bring Hunter, lose game, perhaps. I'm
Perhaps.
sure that's not everything it boils down to. And I'm sure,
No.
like, I'm sure they maybe had a bit of a read on the potential of the Hero Power Druid coming in for Great Big Three. So I think they probably had a good strategy going into it. One of their decks just seemed to fall short here. I mean, they even had the kind of Big Demon Hunter to fall back on as another slow deck for aggro decks to pick on, but yeah, it just wasn't enough. Great Big Three, getting the slight edge over them and putting themselves at 1-1.
Yeah.
I am glad we picked like the 0-1 matches
Yeah.
this past week, because it is crazy to see some of these teams at 0-2, and it just like goes to show how crazy Trio Series has already been with so many of the upsets we've seen.
Yeah. So Face Hunter did not get the win in this
Face Hunter
match.
specifically got the losses.
Yeah,
Face Hunter
lost 2 matches. They lost to Undead
I think
Priest, and they lost to Hero Power Druid.
I think we should add trios to crossover stats, because
I think we
clearly
should.
this is a loss for Ron.
Be way too complicated. But yeah, that'd be funny.
If Wild counts for crossover, then Trios should count for crossover. That's all I'm
Oh
saying.
my gosh. Holy cow. Wild's catching strays.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves and promote crossover here, but let's move on to the main screen.
Sure.
Where we're going to conclude with our fun question of the week. And our question of the week is anything that surprised you so far? Any thoughts on the season, teams? What has been a cool insight for each of you? And I'm going to start with Geranium Battle.
A cool insight for me is that Team 5 is likely never going to release us from this purgatory, because I mean, for the majority of the players, almost every class is pretty playable. We even saw Warlock get some wins. I believe Edelweiss brought Warlock and took a win with it in Pro. So, all the classes are definitely viable. Do not look at the man behind the curtain, and keep banning DH and DK. That's my prudent post of the week.
Nice. Azalea, what are your thoughts?
So my biggest surprise concerning THL is the slow start of, besides Pro, of Chicken, Neji, and Diamond teams being 0-2 in Hero, 0-2 in Legacy, and being 1-1 in Pro. Obviously Pro is very tough. I obviously still think there's time for these teams to pick it up, and I imagine that in some of these some of these series, they absolutely will pick it up and have a chance at playoffs, especially in like Legacy where there's a very small gap for the teams. But
And some of the series
Yeah.
we won't pick it up, and we will miss playoffs.
oh,
So,
sure. I mean,
so make
that's
sure
just.
to follow the weeks to find out which series we missed
mean-
playoffs in.
it's just the nature of the beast. I'm just super. It just kind of surprised me, took me off guard. But for sure, yeah, it's kind of the surprise. Like the classes thing. I guess seeing after this week, I'm just not too surprised. Like we're gonna see most of the same classes, unless there's some complete flip of the script and things get super buffed and things get brought toned down from some classes. But yeah, I'd like to hear what the other people have to say.
Chicken, any thoughts? Anything you want to share about the THL season so far?
Yeah, I think for a 4-set meta, which I find is usually not great for tournament play, I think this one has been better than other ones in recent memory. At least
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it more than Sunken City or Barons metas.
Hey, Baron's
So I
not
think
that bad.
spoken like a true priest apologist. But yeah, like every deck in Barons kind of felt like an arena deck except for Priest, which was just like so unbelievably broken that there was like basically a very linear strategy of just banning the Priest most of the time. So yeah, no, I think like there actually are, despite there being like some decks that are very clearly better than others.
Yeah.
I think there are still um, some different viable strategies. I think Hero especially has
Yeah.
the most interesting strategies because there are a few decks that serve as really good counters to some of the best decks in the meta right now. So I think for me, Hero Series has been, despite me being 0-2 and having one game win across both matches,
Hero's
Hero Series
wild
has been
right
like
now.
the one. It's been the one I've enjoyed the most in terms of kind of planning my lineups and my classes, because yeah, it has been like I have had the most trouble with it because I think it has the most depth.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to take this moment to give a very special thank you for Geranium Battle, Super Chicken, and Azalea Kari for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed our show. If you did, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. We're always looking to improve. But with that said, that is Hearthcenter for the week. We do have match shows coming in. If you want to play on stream, DM the Stream Matches channels. We're always looking for matches for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. Um, Bone Master is coming in with Sidebar every Tuesday, so check that out. And I want to wish you all a great night, and we will see you all later. Have a good one, everyone.